So ladies and gentlemen, with the release of Oxygen OS 15, we do have a series of new AI photo editing tools, and today we're going to be putting those to the test against the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Of course, the OnePlus Open is on the left, and the Pixel 9 Pro Fold is on the right. You may notice that there is a slight difference to the way that sort of this brightness is being captured. This is down to the way that these screens are being captured, nothing more than that. The Pixel 9 Pro Fold is being captured using screen copy, and for the OnePlus Open, I am using a USB capture card running through a USB-C to HDMI cable. So for this first test, what we're going to be doing is trying to just delete this FLIR thermal imaging camera. And for the OnePlus Open, you really only have the one option, which is under AI Editor in the top right, you can see AI Eraser. We're going to use the Smart Lasso to just circle it. It should be able to find the edges of it, and it should be able to erase it. Now, what I'm curious to see is how do those contour lines get recreated? And there is your answer for that. On the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, we can come over here to Tools, and we can use Magic Eraser, which is going to sort of be like your quicker solution to this, and we should be able to circle it just the same. It should kind of snap to the edges and try to erase it, and that's going to be very, very similar in terms of the results to what you're seeing on the OnePlus Open. We'll zoom in a little bit here so that you can kind of see the difference, some rippling going on with the Pixel that you're not seeing on the OnePlus Open, but you do have another better option on the Pixel. So let's go ahead and come out of that, and let's go into the Magic Editor, and this is going to use AI to try to remove this object. I simply tapped on it. I'm going to click on Erase, and it's going to throw this image to the cloud, and it's going to try to create what should be underneath, and that is your result there. And actually, it's one of several results. I'll say that the lines themselves definitely do look a little bit better to me. In fact, they look very, very good. The one mistake that it's really making, which is kind of down to how I circled things or what I selected, is that the shadow from the FLIR is still in the shot, but otherwise, it completed the lines really, really, really well. Over here for OnePlus, you can see that one line sort of just ends. Now, one thing that I do want to point out that you can also do with the Pixel is now that I've selected this object, I can also click on Reimagine, and I can type something in. So now rather than simply erasing the object, it has erased it and replaced it with a bishop chess piece, which is what I told it that I wanted. I find this often to be very, very useful. So for this one, we're going to try to use the Remove People option on the OnePlus Open, and unfortunately, it looks like it doesn't actually seem to recognize that there is a person in this image. So what we're going to do is we're going to revert back to the Smart Lasso. In theory, it should have recognized that as a person and erased it. But we're just going to do it that way and see how this turns out. We now have a dog being walked by a ghost. Obviously, the shadow there of my wife is still in the shot, but I think otherwise that does look pretty decent. Over here on the Pixel, we're just going to tap, and we're going to click on Erase in Magic Editor and see how this result compares. Now, immediately, what you're probably going to notice is that on the Pixel, even though I didn't select the shadow, it got rid of the shadow as well. It understood that those things were connected, and it took care of that for me at the same time. I did not actually expect it to do that, but that is remarkably impressive. In the interest of completeness, this is the exact same image being done on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6. And as you can see, I think it's more similar to the OnePlus Open than it is to the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. The shadow is being left in. Other details I think do look quite nice, right? So like up here, the edge of the trail I think looks fine. There's a little something strange going on right there that I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it's sort of it's underneath where my wife was. It looks almost like a puddle or something, but that's what you're going to get on the Z Fold 6. Like I said, I think it's closer to the OnePlus than to the Pixel. So here is an image that was zoomed in by about 4x on a Pixel 9 Pro XL, and we're going to use the AI Detail Boost on the OnePlus Open, and we're going to use Zoom Enhance on the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. So going one at a time, let's zoom in on Spider-Man on the OnePlus Open, and we should be able to compare them back and forth. And I gotta tell you guys, I'm hitting the compare button. You can see it going back and forth. I literally, I don't think I see a difference at all. I'm not convinced that it did anything. Wow. Meanwhile, on the Pixel, if I toggle back and forth between the two, I think you can definitely see that something is going on there. I don't particularly love the result on the Pixel, but I don't think you can look at it and say that it's not doing anything, whereas on the OnePlus, man, that really looks like exactly the same image. Let's actually go back and let's click on this again and make sure that we didn't just, it didn't just fail in some way, because I really don't see a difference at all. You can see the animation doing what it's doing its thing, it's trying. Once again, as I compare the two, it looks, I see no difference at all. And I just want to be clear here, going back in post, that is what this feature is meant to do: enhance image clarity and sharpen details with AI. I think you've just seen with your own eyes that it doesn't always do that seemingly at all. Just to add a little bit more detail, I grabbed another image and ran it through that as well, and you can see there is a subtle difference happening. I mean, honestly, it looks a bit like the pop slider in Google Photos being turned up a little bit. Might be called clarity or something like that in other editors. This is definitely a very light, subtle effect. We also have the option to do AI reflection eraser on the OnePlus Open. Now, the Pixel does not actually have a tool like this. So we're going to test this out on this little digital plaque that shows off my channel information. Let's see if it's able to get rid of these reflections. And it doesn't appear to have done a whole lot other than erasing the letter G. We're going to need to test this on another image. All right, so here's another image I just took of my dusty computer case, and we are going to go into the wrong thing. Let's go into the AI reflection eraser and see if it's able to pick up me as a reflection, the lamp as a reflection, and remove those things. It did remove quite a bit. It left most of me in there, but it did actually remove quite a bit of the other reflections. The lamps are a lot harder to see. The screen, the monitor reflecting there on the left side is much harder to see. So that actually was fairly effective. Now, this is a feature that you actually do have access to on the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold series of devices. So I will add a little snippet here showing how it handled this exact situation. And I think that what OnePlus did here is actually very, very similar to that. The last thing I want to look at is the unblur feature. Now, I'm not going to try to push this thing to some extreme because I just don't think that that's what this is meant for, and I don't think that it's particularly fair. This is an image of Jet, and it's not like super blurred, but there is a little bit of motion blurring going on there. It's just a touch out of focus, and that is what I actually think that this feature is meant to help with. So we're going to use unblur on the Pixel, we're going to go to AI Editor, and we're going to use AI Unblur over here, and we're going to see which one is bringing her into a sharper focus. So let's look at the OnePlus Open first, and let's go back and forth on the compare option. And it is a very, very subtle difference, but honestly, guys, I think it looks better before. I think that this feature is actually making it look blurrier. This is the quote-unquote fixed version. This is the before version. You can see more detail on the nose before. Same thing here. This is actually making things worse. Let's look at over here on the Pixel, and we can actually dial in how much this effect should be working. And on the Pixel, I think that it's definitely increasing the contrast. You could argue that there's some detail there around the nostril that's actually sort of going away. But as a whole, look at the details sort of right in this area as we dial this up. It does seem to me like there is a subtle difference happening. Her eyes, the reflections, things are sort of clearing up there. The Pixel's definitely doing something. I really don't know what to say about what OnePlus is doing over here. To me, that looks objectively worse. It's clearer before than after. So in the interest, once again, of more data, I have taken another image, this time intentionally with motion blur, OnePlus Open on the left. Let's zoom in and let's hit that compare button. And okay, so on the ear of the llama, the left eye of Rose, you can see an effect happening. But am I crazy, or is that basically the only place that's changing at all? This is quite the head scratcher for me. On the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, let's zoom in, let's turn the dial all the way down, and then turn the dial all the way up. It is definitely having an effect. It is not truly magic. It does not take a bad photo and make it good. But if you're on the cusp, you're close, It is absolutely making a difference on this image, and I don't think that I'm crazy for saying that it is a more noticeable, more effective thing than what we're getting on the OnePlus device. So to sort of recap here, the unblur feature and what is it called? The AI detail boost feature don't seem to be worth using at all. They just don't seem to be doing a darn thing. The reflection remover seems to work in a similar range to as well as Samsung's stuff, and the AI editor seems to be a step below what Google has as well. Now, I do want to kind of remind you guys that I made this video when the AI Object Eraser first came out, and I was actually fairly impressed with how it compared to Magic Editor. You can see over here on the right that looked pretty good. And as I zoomed in and looked at it, it really did hold up quite well. So this is one of those situations where it's going to be somewhat dependent upon what you are erasing. I would say that the Magic Editor is likely to get it right and to be pretty darn solid more of the time, though, and Reimagine is a really, really nice feature that I do prefer over Sketch to Image because it doesn't require any sort of artist ability. I can simply type in the words. So in that way, I think Magic Editor is better than what OnePlus has, and it's better than what Samsung has as well. Overall, while I do think it's great that OnePlus is trying to keep up with regard to these features, I don't think I'm saying anything controversial when I tell you that Google is going to maintain that lead for at least a little while longer. But let me know what you think in the comments down below. I know I'm being a little bit harsh on OnePlus here, but these are my honest opinions. I love the OnePlus Open. It is a fantastic device, and it does a lot of things really, really well, but this is what I truly think about their AI photo editing tools. And I want to hear what you guys think in the comments down below. So guys, subscribe for more content just like this. And until next time, stay nerdy, my friends.